Hello, B&G Radio. This is your co-host Larry.
And your co-host James.
Today we just got out of a press conference with the governor and the lieutenant governor. We're going to cut to that right after that. What do you think of it?
I think the press conference went really well. It definitely simulated like a real press conference that a government setting would definitely have. It was very serious. It was very the atmosphere was very government-like, and I was really surprised, but also really I guess in a way satisfied with the amount of work they've really put in. So I really trust in our government officials, and I think that was a really good press conference.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I think that they did a good job in this press conference. They've been doing a lot. They're actually having the community games right now, which is a part of the CARE Act they were talking about in the press conference. You get to hear more about that shortly. And we're going to see how the rest of this Boys and Girls State goes. And I have high hopes. All right, thank you very much.
For starters, we have made major accomplishments and advancements throughout the day and a half we've really been in office. There is now single-payer universal health care in the state of California. So families that were once struggling to pay their bills because they didn't know if they wanted to eat that night or pay their medical insurance for a broken leg or sprained ankle, you no longer have to worry about that. It'll advance wait times slightly. However, legislation is being worked on for that. We want to make sure that everybody can get efficient and quality care at a low cost. That has been the primary objective. We've passed 2 bills regarding our nuclear energy program. As we said, we have a program for research and development. Those who do bring the best ideas forward will get prizes of 1,500, is it 800? 800 and then 500. So I encourage any and everybody who does want to do that, I encourage them to look into it. It'd probably be fun for you, and it would do the state some great good. Economically, we're doing very well at the moment. We have a state budget of $28,000 approximately. Probably one of the highest grossing amounts in California boys state history as of recent. We'll get numbers on that very soon, and we'll try to get that out to you, the media, and the public. Other than that, we've worked very diligently over the past day and a half and since we were elected. Executive orders have been signed. We've instituted a National Guard and a State Guard. I have instituted a Secret Service program to look into election filings. As we know, there have been a lot of issues regarding election filing as there was in the last campaign. Certain candidates either weren't eligible and made the ballot or were eligible and did not make the ballot. We look forward to ensuring that the democratic process is protected by the law, by the Constitution, and by this office, and by her office as well, Lieutenant Governor. Now, are there any questions? Anybody can ask a question. You guys know that, right?
What can I ask a question about? Just to clarify.
Anything policy-wise?
What plan do you have to take the taxes taken from this program or from our elections and put them towards the people here?
So we have the county games. We've already talked about that. That's going on right now. I just gave a speech regarding it. Just gave the opening speech. Basically, we're hiring 10 refs.
So if I can speak on that a little bit. My team and I have been working really, really hard to put on the county games, not only as a means of, running some fun for the community, but we really want to use it as an opportunity to employ people and to help help reduce unemployment in the state. So I've sent people out to hire people for refing jobs, for organizational jobs, things like that, so we can help reduce unemployment. So that is one way in which the funding from election filings is going back into the community. We also just filed a bill in the Senate that creates an unemployment commission and unemployment bureau to help people who are unemployed and have some sort of welfare to make sure that no one is going to be put at risk of going of default if they're sued or any sort of injury happens.
There's also comes down to it. We have a program which institutes bank loans from the state government of $50 or less for those looking to open a small business. We have retracted the laws. I guess you could call them laws. The laws that state you have to have a degree to open a business. That is unconstitutional. Those have been restricted and removed. You no longer have to worry about that, but you can now open a business. You can get a loan to open that business. You do have to pay it back with a small form of fee of interest. We're putting back the money into the community as much as we possibly can through different means and different initiatives, like our program to reduce homelessness. That has got a good amount of funding to ease our energy grid and bring back some form of nuclear, renewable, sustainable energy. We're doing a whole lot at the moment, and it seems like it's working. We actually have a very bipartisan working Assembly and Senate, working well together, working well with our office. Things have been running fairly smooth. There hasn't been much really to talk about except for the major policies that have been actually implemented and passed.
All right, you have any more questions?
You guys are talking about the State Guard and National Guard. How does that work? And like, if you wanted to get a job for that, how would you go about that?
So effectively with the State Guard, it's under the governor's office. You would have to apply to the heads of the State Guard, Ishan Badhan, I'm sorry if I butchered that, and then Jack Ferguson. They will give you an interviewing process, and then they'll report back to me. I'll look over the appointment, and then I'll probably just give you a name stamp. If you're an employee, not a head, you don't have to be appointed through the Senate or anything. That just goes straight to the governor's office. National Guard's a little different. You will need some form of confirmation from the State Assembly and the Senate. However, you'll most likely to get it because you're not of a head stature office. You talk to Aaron Letwin and Kane Newall. Newall?
N-E-W-E-L.
Okay. They'll give you an interview process. They'll take your appointment to me, and I'll just nominate you. You'll go through the State Assembly and Senate, and they'll confirm you or deny you or you get confirmed. That's.
Do you have any other questions? Right here.
So I remember at the Federalist Party meetings, you guys mentioned the CARE Act as something that you were passing. So would you say that you guys are working together to still continue that? And is the City Games, I understand that the C in the CARE Act stands for community. Would you say that the City Games basically stands for that, like trying to build unity amongst the state?
Yeah, I would say, the city and county game stands for all of it. I think, when we're talking about individual acts, I don't want it to be like, this is a C bill or this is an A bill. It's all under CARE. But yeah, that was both for community, I think, and relief. We want to, relief from unemployment, put money back into the community, stimulate the economy, give people jobs, opportunities to get involved in Boys and Girls State. So that was for all of it. I think in addition, with the CARE Act, my team has been working very diligently to, provide things like, greater accessibility to courts, have core postings about where they are, how to find them, where you can watch them, so you have access to our judicial process, access to our elected officials, what you're doing here. And then also, things like relief from unemployment with the Unemployment Bureau.
I would say that the CARE Act definitely is it falls within the entirety of the community games because it definitely makes you accessible to your public leaders. We'll be participating in some way, shape, or form, whether as you saw through speeches and outreach or actual participation in the games. So I think that the games themselves are a big part of the CARE Act, actually represent the entirety of the CARE Act in the sense of what we're doing to get out to the community. I'm a Whig, I work with the Federalist. This is a Federalist who works for the Whig, and this is a program that we both do dearly care about. It's not just a one side of the aisle issue.
All right. Anything else? Any more questions?
I do want to say that we are kind of running low on time, so one last question.
What plans do you have for the distribution of both, considering most of the money has seemed to funnel up the state?
Yeah, so the idea is to have that money, once it funnels to the state, we can put it back into the community through programs that we fund through the state money, so through the state treasury. So, things like the Unemployment Bureau, things like Medicare, which was just passed through the House and the Senate, so we now have universal health care. So programs like that reduce the risk of each individual citizen. So the idea is that, instead of that if something happens to any citizen in Girls and Boys State, the state has the resources to care for that citizen and to make sure that nothing bad happens to them. If that answers your question. It's being put it back into the community through programs, and I really hope to continue working with my team. It would be, John and William, and to just keep pushing legislation that funds additional programs that goes back to the people.
And it comes down to it effectively being this. The only thing that comes to us through it is probably state payroll. Everything else goes right back into our communities, right back into our state. It was designed that way, it was built that way, it was passed that way, and it was signed.
And if you actually look at the budget, which is passed in the House and in the Assembly and the Senate, it includes extensive allocation for community programs that goes back to the people.
One last question.
The lowering the cost of healthcare and making it universal, what are some like tangible like steps between that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Lowering the cost of healthcare and making it more universal, what are some tangible steps in like policies that will be implemented to do that?
And steps and policies? Universal healthcare as a bill actually passed the House and the Senate. So now we have a healthcare program that is, funded by the state and that applies to every single person. So everyone in this room currently has healthcare that is funded by the state and it's completely free for them.
It also comes down to the surplus that we have in our state budget, which is of $100 billion. We also have money funneling through our tax revenue system, which has not been used or allocated properly, which we have reallocated and is now being used properly to fund our universal healthcare system. You have the money for it, trust me, and we're not raising taxes on anybody. We're not gonna drop a bombshell on you and you're gonna have to pay $50 a month to make sure that you know that. We did this to avoid that. It's low cost completely, basically, because you're paying maybe $40 out of your regular taxes every year, and that's it.
And healthcare, it's already completely implemented. You all have healthcare in this room right now. There's nothing left that needs to be done there.
And that's gonna be it, because we do have a governor's council meeting to get right into right after this. So I hope you guys all got to every question that I could get to.
If anyone has any more questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available. Just approach me anywhere, and I will talk to your heart's content.
Remember, Dean Staso, Christopher Ramirez, these are the press secretaries for this council. If you do need anything, reach out to them.